By the power vested in me, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, degrees and diplomas with all the associated rights and privileges will be conferred and awarded to the candidates whose names appear in the program. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayer or meditation to give thanks for the achievements of our students. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as Chancellor of the University of Pretoria, I extend a hearty word of welcome to you at this graduation this afternoon. I extend special word of welcome to the Registrar, Professor C. Nicholson, the Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Science, Professor Naidu, the Deputy Dean, Professor D. Holm, the chairpersons of schools, heads of departments, directors, honorary professors and other lecturers and their spouses, the representative of the Student Representative Council will present the SRC academic honorary colors, all persons to whom degrees will be conferred and diplomas awarded this afternoon. All spouses, parents, and other parties, as well as dignitaries that we may not be aware of, you are all welcome. We sincerely hope that you will enjoy this afternoon with us. Ladies and gentlemen, as Chancellor of the University of Pretoria, it is my honor and privilege to officiate at your graduation this afternoon. I join your parents, friends, and relatives on this joyous occasion. We congratulate all of you on your achievements. Obtaining a university degree should not be taken for granted. Those who have the support and discipline to persevere still constitute a tiny percentage of our total population. Therefore, we have every reason to be grateful and to celebrate your achievements. I salute the Dean of the Faculty and staff for another successful year, the Vice Chancellor and Executive Leadership of the University for ensuring that a conducive environment for teaching, learning, and research is nurtured, maintained, and sustained at the university. Ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, the 23rd March, I had the privilege of attending and officiating at the inauguration of Professor T. Cooper as the 13th Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria. It was an exceptionally dignified and joyous occasion, well attended by the university community and key stakeholders, leaders of sister institutions, research institutions, business leaders, and representatives of our own government. The university stakeholders delivered warm messages of support and good wishes to the new Vice Chancellor, and we were entertained by the choirs of the university, and that was a very special occasion, and it makes one feel proud to be associated with the University of Pretoria. I'm pleased that the university has made another excellent choice following the very successful term of Professor Cheryl Dillaray, who had the right experience, disposition, and temperament to lead the university during the Fees Must Fall campaign and other very challenging events during her term. Again today, I congratulate Professor Cooper and wish him great success during his term as Vice Chancellor of this great university. Ladies and gentlemen, may we again give him a round of applause as the new Vice Chancellor of the university. On Friday, 29th March, the university launched another prestigious project, the Future Africa Institute on the Hillcrest campus. A very innovative initiative that is the first of its kind, not only in South Africa, but also in Africa and the world. A multidisciplinary center that is going to place the University of Pretoria and South Africa at the center of knowledge production for the 21st century. Through this center, the University of Pretoria will attract exceptionally talented researchers from the rest of the continent and play a leading role in the production of new knowledge and crafting of solutions to some of Africa's intriguing challenges. For you as graduates of this university, the Institute will open new opportunities to collaborate with scholars from the rest of the continent. Through the Future Africa Institute, Africa's contribution to knowledge over the centuries will be showcased to the rest of the world, and through collaborative and multidisciplinary research, African scholars will ensure that Africans become co-creators of the fourth industrial revolution solutions, not only the spectators and users, as it happened in previous industrial revolutions. You are also graduating at a time when South Africa is at a crossroad. Euphoria of the Rainbow Nation, founded on one of the most progressive constitutions in the world, got derailed by state capture and corruption for almost 10 years. This damaged our international prestige as a nation and our self-confidence as a people. Fortunately, now we're climbing out of that nightmare. Through the commissions of inquiry, we are cleansing ourselves, and our new president is giving us hope of a new dawn. As the graduates of the University of Pretoria, you should commit to making your respective contributions in the rebuilding of our country. Be ambassadors of hope and healing, agents of healing of fellow South Africans who got hurt by the scourges of corruption, hatred, racism, and xenophobia in the last few years. Let us be the new South Africans that President Mandela imagined in 1994. The Africans that President Mbeki imagined in his historic speech on the acceptance of our new constitution in 1996, when he said, "Whatever the setback of the moment, nothing can stop us. However improbable it may sound to skeptics, Africa will prosper." As you graduate today, I want you to join us in saying, whatever the setbacks of the moment may be, we as this generation of South Africans will not fail, will overcome. I am sure that during your years at the university, You have been preparing and equipping yourselves to do good with your knowledge and skills. Now is the time to go out and do exactly that. Congratulations and best wishes as you either continue with your studies or move on to be of service to humanity. Congratulations and a round of applause for the graduates. I now call on the Dean to introduce to me the candidates present whose names appear on the program.
Mr. Chancellor, the supervisors will now introduce the doctorate candidates to you.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Amanda Bielefeld, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Genomic Comparison of Mycoplasma Species Isolated from Commercial Chickens in South Africa, prepared under my supervision. In her thesis, the Provamenda generated complete genome sequence data for 178 Mycoplasma isolates, identifying 6 species in the national flock, including Mycoplasma gallisepticum and M. synoviae, who are notifiable disease agents. Antimicrobial resistance profiles of 70 axenic isolates were correlated to genetic resistance markers, resulting in the identification of novel point mutations in M. gallinaceum and M. gallinarum associated with antimicrobial resistance. The Provamenda furthermore assembled, annotated, and published the first complete genome sequence of M. pyllorum. Finally, 26 novel gene targets were identified in a whole genome comparison of 68 axenic mycoplasma isolates that will aid in the development of improved diagnostic assays and future vaccines. The sequencing database of 79 axenic isolates generated in this study can be utilized for numerous future mycoplasma-related projects. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree, Doctor of Philosophy, with all associated rights and privileges on Amanda Bielefeld. Congratulations, man.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Angela Bays, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Development and Evaluation of an Inactivated Multiclostridial Vaccine for Captive Bred Southern White Rhinoceros, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Yannick Crawford as co-supervisor. In her thesis, the Provamenda developed a multiclostridial vaccine using modern single-use technology of various clostridial species. Fermentation was followed by the development of an ELISA for antibody detection. 2 groups of white rhinoceros were evaluated, consisting of a group vaccinated with a commercial multiclostridial vaccine for cattle and a group vaccinated with Rhinovax. Post-vaccinated antibody titers for Rhinovax vaccinated animals increased significantly except against Clostridium perfringens type A when compared to animals vaccinated with a commercial cattle vaccine. To establish baseline data, seroprevalence of unvaccinated rhinoceros in the Kruger National Park was evaluated. Data showed high titers of Clostridium perfringens type A and Clostridium septicum only. The results contribute to the understanding of serological profiles of rhinoceros to veterinary important clostridial organisms. Mr. Chancellor, I request to you to confer the degree on the candidate.
Congratulations. I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Angela Bice. Congratulations, ma'am.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Ibukun Michael Famuyidi, who has complied with the requirements of the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Potential of Eugenia and Syzygium Species Myrtaceae to Combat Diarrheogenic Pathogens with emphasis on porcine enterotoxigenic Escherichia coli. This was prepared under my supervision and with Professor Kobus Eloff as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the promovendus worked towards providing solutions to the One Health issue of antimicrobial resistance via the food chain by investigating replacements for synthetic antibiotics commonly added to livestock feed in the form of medicinal plant extracts. In vitro methods were used to determine the antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant activities, cellular safety, and mode of antibacterial action of 9 South African Eugenia and Syzygium medicinal plant species. Plant extracts had noteworthy antibacterial activity against planktonic and biofilm forms of various gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, as well as good antiquorum sensing activity and anti-adhesion activities. The plants had high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activities and low cytotoxicity to mammalian cells. The results provide support for the potential development of some of the selected plants as phytogenic feed additives. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Ibukun Michael Famuyide. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Dorcas Amara Gado, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Susceptibility of Salmonella serotypes to Plant Secondary Metabolites with Application in Infection Control. In her thesis, the promovenda evaluated the antibacterial activity of leaves of 10 selected South African medicinal plants. Loxostylus alata was selected for further investigation based on promising preliminary antibacterial and antioxidant activity and low cytotoxicity. The activity of crude extracts of L. alata was evaluated against both susceptible and multi-drug resistant Salmonella isolates of animal origin in comparison to commercial antibiotics with good results. No genetic relatedness between resistant strains was observed based on pulsed field gel electrophoresis analysis of S. enteritidis and Salmonellum typhimurium isolates. The antibacterial compounds delicaflavone, sinencetin, methylgalate, and cetine were purified and identified from the leaves of Loxostylus alata for the first time. The mode of action via antibiofilm activity and immune modulatory properties of Loxostylus alata leaf extracts and purified compounds were reported for the first time. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Dorcas Amara Gado. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Shivani Gulab to be complied with who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled cell surface display as a potential Brucella antigen delivery system prepared under my supervision and with Drs. Michael Crampton and Robin Roth as co-supervisors. Brucella is a challenging zoonotic disease posing a devastating impact on livestock. A novel vaccination strategy employed the avirulent Escherichia coli and Eurovia leptolytica expression system for the surface display of Brucella antigens OMP16 and OMP19. In her thesis, the promovenda investigated whether the incorporation of these homologous lipoproteins in non-pathogenic cells could ultimately protect livestock against common Brucella species infection. Super-resolution localization microscopy confirmed lipoprotein surface display, which validated these platforms for use as vaccine vehicles. This provided insight into Brucella lipoprotein spatial distribution and biogenesis, which was reviewed and published in a high-impact journal. The vaccine efficacy monitored in mice indicated that the humoral immune response acquired was supported by a cross-reactive response to the bacterial envelope components. The protection conferred in the immunized model by the avirulent delivery system upon Brucella infection was inadequate in comparison to the Brucella abortus S19 vaccine. Nonetheless, these antigen platforms coupled with these lipoproteins may demonstrate potential as booster vaccinations. Mr. Chancellor, I request to you to confer the degree on the candidate.
Congratulations, ma'am. I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Shivani Kulab. Congratulations, ma'am.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Hamza Ibrahim Issa, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Development and Evaluation of Immunogens for a Yellow Tolp Vaccine, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Crawford as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the promovendus investigated if a yellow tolp vaccine could be developed to prevent the economically important plant poisoning in livestock. Epoxysclerosidine, prosclerodine, and bufalin were conjugated to different proteins to render them immunogenic. A suitable adjuvant was added before vaccinating rabbits in 3 different trials. An ELISA was developed to determine antibody response. Antibodies were raised and the antibodies against prosclerodine and bufalin cross-reacted with epoxysclerosidine. The animal vaccination studies were scaled up and sheep were immunized. Cytotoxic effects of epoxysclerosidine were evaluated in a rat embryonic cardiomyocyte cell line using cell viability assays and transmission electron microscopy. The cytotoxicity studies demonstrated that epoxysclerosidine causes cell necrosis. Subsequently, the antibodies raised in sheep were concentrated and purified before evaluation of the in vitro neutralization efficacy. However, the anti-epoxysclerosidine antibodies failed to prevent cytotoxic effects induced by epoxysclerosidine. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Hamza Ibrahim Issa. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Gagelo Lekota, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Genomic studies of Bacillus anthracis and Bacillus species isolated from anthrax outbreaks in South Africa. Prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Charles Heffer and Professor Evelyn Madaroba as co-supervisors. Anthrax is a zoonotic disease that naturally occurs in wild and domestic animals caused by Bacillus anthracis. Bacillus anthracis and Bacillus endophyticus, isolated from anthrax cases in the Northern Cape province, had similar microbiological and genetic features. Therefore, whole genome sequencing were used to identify the homologous polyglutamate genes presented in both species and also to identify regions that differentiated Bacillus anthracis from Bacillus endophyticus. Molecular analysis of the Kruger National Park and Northern Cape Province strains from anthrax outbreak in animals clustered mostly in the A clade. The rare B clade strains were last isolated in the 1990s in Kruger National Park. In this study, a B strain was isolated from Limpopo Province for the first time in 2 decades. Bacillus anthracis genomic databases were generated to identify single nucleotide polymorphisms across sequenced and worldwide genomes. Specific novel SNPs were developed in high-resolution melt SNPs assays. This study confirmed the diversity of Bacillus anthracis strains and identified novel subclades and branches in South Africa. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Gaugelo Edward Lekota. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Gabi Ermelindo Roberto Monteiro, who has completed with the requirements for the degree, Doctor of Philosophy, with a thesis titled Mutation of Adjacent Cysteine Residues in the NSS protein of Rift Valley fever results, loss of virulence in a murine model infection. Gabi's PhD research aimed to investigate the effects of selected amino acid on Rift Valley fever virus virulence. This virus is of both local, regional, and international health and veterinary concern. Her research was primarily utilizing reverse genetics technology, which allows changing the genetic makeup of a pathogen to study the effects of induced alterations. Results of her study provide new insights into molecular basis of Rift Valley fever pathogenicity, and especially on the role of the cysteine amino acids in antagonizing the host's innate immune responses. Her knowledge generated through the study has promised to be applied in the development of novel vaccines, but also for the development of safe diagnostics. He published her scientific results in an international journal, and I wish her all the best in a future research work. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Gabi Ermelindo Monteiro with all associated rights and privileges. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Harry Ngoveni, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Characterizing the Effect of Mutation, Recombination and Reassortment on the Genetic Diversity of African Horse Sickness Virus Genomes, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Antoinette van Skalkwyk as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the promovendus made an in-depth study of the evolution in the genome of the African horse sickness virus through the application of massively parallel sequencing of the complete genomes of close to 100 viruses, isolated over a period of more than 60 years. It was determined that genetic mutations are under strong purifying selection and that the mean nucleotide substitution rate is lower than what is the case for other RNA viruses, a constraint imposed by the necessity to replicate in both the host and the insect vector species. Widespread reassortment of genome segments were detected, and it was shown for the first time that recombination events occurred within some of the genome segments. This knowledge will be used in the development of the next generation of vaccines to ensure complete antigenic matching between vaccine and field viruses. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Harry K. Ngoveni. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Margaret Nolan, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Efficacy and Safety of Recombinant Zoonopelucida Vaccines in Domestic Horse Mares and Current Application of Native Porcine Zoonopelucida Vaccines in African Elephant Cows. This was prepared under my supervision and with Professor Henk Birching as co-supervisor. In her thesis, the promovenda reported that a recombinant zoonopelucida immunocontraceptive vaccine formulated with novel adjuvants was an effective and safe alternative to porcine zoonopelucida vaccination in mares. Data was collected in randomized control studies and described mares' ovarian effects, antibody titer responses, and safety profiles. Additionally, a retrospective data analysis from elephant populations in South African reserves demonstrated PZP immunocontraceptive vaccination as a successful management tool informing future implementation. Overall, this work reported novel and improved alternatives for humane veterinary population management of horses, potentially similarly applicable in elephants and other species. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Margaret Bethelyn Nolan. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Nuruddin Oloshu, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Prevalence and Characterization of Salmonella Isolates originating from the broiler production value chain in Nigeria, prepared under the supervision of Professor Dayo Fasina and my co-supervision. In his thesis, the promovendus investigated the epidemiology and established baseline data in support of the prevalence of Salmonella in the Nigerian broiler production value chain, using South Africa as a reference. The structure of the Nigerian broiler production value chain revealed policy inadequacy in competitive pricing and compromising food safety standards. Biosecurity compliance in broiler breeder to farm was poor with high risk of vertical transmission. Prevalence of 55% for locations and 23% for samples were observed for multi-drug resistant salmonella linked to unregulated high level of drug usage in animal-human environment interface. The study demonstrated salmonella as a neglected zoonotic foodborne pathogen in Africa. Joint continental-wise surveillance and national data collection platforms on salmonella with antimicrobial resistance is imperative to establish good antimicrobial stewardship. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Nuruddin Oloso. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, I introduce to you Moise Ondua, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Doctor of Philosophy with a thesis titled Anti-Inflammatory and Antioxidant Activities of Selected Southern African Medicinal Plants with Potential Application in Treating Helminth Infections. This was prepared under my supervision and with the co-supervision of Dr. Emmanuel Mfortier Njoya. In his thesis, the promovendus investigated the biological activities of 11 Southern African plants used in traditional medicine to treat inflammation. 2 new compounds with good anti-inflammatory and anthelmintic activities were isolated for the first time from Typha capensis. This plant had good activity not only against the larvae of the parasitic livestock nematode, Haemonchus contortus, but also against various inflammatory mediators. This supports the potential of Typha capensis, the common bulrush, for development into an anthelmintic remedy, able to additionally enhance the healing of damaged tissues via anti-inflammatory and antioxidant action. There was a strong correlation between in vitro antioxidant and anthelmintic activities, suggesting that antioxidant assays may be used in bioassay-guided fractionation for isolation of compounds from plants with activity against Helminth parasites. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all associated rights and privileges on Moise Ondua. Congratulations.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates have complied with the requirements for the Master's Program. Masters in Animal, Human Ecosystem Health, Rona Atingo. Tapiwa Mokwarara. Chisanga Mwamba. Nomatasankwa Nogwabela. George Sendengu. Samantha Wills Berryman. In ruminant health, Olwefunkwe Nosu. In tropical animal health, Gillian de Klerk. Stephen Mandara. Rudo Marunga with distinction. Ratsalane Marumo. Johan Nell with distinction. Leandri Stradom. Bianca Voits. Jason Zanga. In veterinary epidemiology, Lisa Hemstra with distinction. In veterinary science, Friedrich Water with distinction. Jacques Dupré. Karen Eberson with distinction. Rwanda Jacobs with distinction. Rebecca Gilles. Katemba Kambuyi. Mohammed Lehman. Nomsa Mabahona. Sakhota Mahabo with distinction. Ayanda Mangela with distinction. Nomawetu Masina. Molokhadi Mohofo with distinction. Mashlala Mashplele. Sophie Niller with distinction. Nchi Shabangu. In companion animal clinical studies, Roxanne Elmsley with distinction. In paraclinical sciences, Daniela Hen with distinction. Edward Conona with distinction. Relobohile Lefiana. Tembika Matertwa with distinction. Brad Quo with distinction. Tahia Sheikh with distinction. In tropical diseases, Siriletso Makwarela. Kolani Mazibuko. Koketso Mazui. Charlotte Mpunya with distinction. Machi Hoza. Master of Veterinary Medicine in Pathology, Aliska Hennen. Nicolese Odell. In small animal surgery, Frans van Heerden. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidate has complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Veterinary Science Honours, Lee Baragwanat. Karen Breuer. Diane Haywood. Ingrid Metz. Jacobus Noki. Judith Ace. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Veterinary Science. Shira Amar. Gina Anstey. Amelia Badenhorst. Belinda Banks. Jamila Bernard. Kelly Bernard. Casper Bester. Sumari Bezheidenhout. Atishka Boda Singh. Amy Bokaba. Marcel Bosley. Jolene Wobbly. Jessica Borogiro. Roxanne Buckle. Okay. Janine Chetty. Maria Cilliers. Natasha Clark. Jessica Claydon. Adrian Kutia. Hayden Cuthill. Bibi De Bruyne. Shanta de Klerk with distinction. Chanel Dioshurin. Esty Devitt. Megan Dixon with distinction. Makasonkwe Klamini. Emka Duplessis with distinction. Jean-Philippe Duplessis. Anarin Duprier. Yolandi Dutoy. Kathleen Edmonds. Chloe Foucher. Dylan Foucher. Hemal Gangaram. Ashley Glover with distinction. Priyanka Garden. Lisa Grayling. Elizabeth Howard. Mikhail Human. Jessica Humphreys. Chandini Isvalal. Juanita Jacobs. Heino Janse van Rensburg. Akil Jenner. Wilhelmina Jonk. Sunel Jooster. Joanne Hubert. Sorry. Robin Carter. Martha Kleinhans. Ivan Kotzer. Lawrence Kruger. Shannon Kruger. Stefan Kruger. Bartel Liebenberg. Ronaldo Lloyd. Louis Lobser with distinction. Vicky Lowe. Jean-Paul Lubinga. Molly Lubinga. Joanne Marnie. Janelle Maestri. Chad Murray. Johan Murray. Fraser Martins. Ram Macham. Gertruda Mentz. Ivy Miso. Antia Makalatos. Jogelo Mahashlo. Hans Yuri Mulman. Jason Murray with distinction. Latiwe Mtembu. Musondwa Mukhodi. Komborerai Mwamaku. Isla Newmarch. Amy Nicholson. Nicola Niverhays. Louisa Nkomo. Sifasilwe Nkumalo. Okay. Nicola Oldfield. Shonak Parbu. Bianca Lee Partington. Annalise Pepler with distinction. Samantha Phillips. Prashanya Pillai. Adrian Pont. Sonay Pretorius. Mazel Reinders. Kim Rosalie with distinction. Waldo Rousseau. Bernard Rousseau. Leslie Roos. Marisha Skempers. Johanna Skutter. Mokhadi Simola. Indamona Shilandelo. Calvin Smith. Mignon Sneeman. Zandri Sneeman. Keith Spargo. Greta Steenkamp. Naomi Steenberg. Susan Stein. Jadine Swart. Megan Swimmer with distinction. Karina Texira. Trevor Traherne. Maralee van der Bank. Carla van der Merwe. Isaac van der Merwe. Jan Hendrik van der Merwe. Lara van der Merwe. Sherika van der Merwe with distinction. Ulrich van der Merwe. Marianne van der Mesch. Kimberly van der Skeef. Shannon van Rooyen. Aljani van Tonder. Your picture. I kick it. Chabonet van Zyl. Reinhard Venter. Kurt Verheyke. Lawrence Ferray. Carla Fasaki. Francois Fasaki. Zandri Fasaki. Nenka Voigt. Sarah Wilkinson. Kavakatora Kamburona. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the Diploma in Veterinary Nursing. Chantel Blowfield with distinction. Cabello Choka. Daniela Cowden. Carla de Kock. Clara Jean Delport. Shannon Friday. Courtney Galosha. Francisca Kesson. Bianca Grace. Lauren Henshelwood with distinction. Karen Henson with distinction. Nicole Hickman with distinction. Shumalit Isaacs with distinction. Carla Jonker. Michelle Jordan with distinction. Lizette Kakabiaka. Celine Lamprecht. Anaki Lombard. Brigitta Matthews. JD McLeod. Abueng Njabaleng. Sesiwe Inshiba. Hanli Udendal. Antoinette Perkin. Anne Elizabeth Posthumous with distinction. Lebachang Rangapole. Claire Rousseau with distinction. Angelique Skuman. Monique Stark. Leanne Starker. Leila Rose Stier with distinction. Michelle Swanapool. Jolene van Eyck. Lisa Venter. Megan Versput with distinction. Kirsten Williams with distinction. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Dr. Ashley Lauren Glover for the presentation of the award of the Vice Chancellor and Principal. Ashley Lauren Glover complied with all the requirements for the Bachelor of Veterinary Science degree on 30th November 2018, and the degree was conferred to her today with distinction. She distinguished herself during 2018 as the overall top achiever in the Faculty of Veterinary Science. Mr. Chancellor, I request you to present the candidate with the award of Vice Chancellor and Principal.
I hereby present Clover Ashley Lauren with the award of the Vice Chancellor and Principal. Congratulations. Well, thank you very much to the Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude, let's congratulate the graduates once more with a round of applause. Now it's the turn of the graduates to congratulate their parents, to thank them with a round of applause. Well, thank you very much for a very lovely afternoon. We are grateful for the attendance and for the participation of the faculty. We have now come to the end of the proceedings. Before we close, I wish to invite all of you to refreshments in front of this hall. You are now requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem and to remain standing until the assembly has been dissolved and the academic procession has left the auditorium. Now the national anthem. the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of Pretoria. Thank you.
Gaudeamus igitur, iurenes dum sumus. Gaudeamus igitur, iurenes dum sumus. Post iutur